each other, Bloom wrote, with Nielsen insisting that the early Wuhan sequences were extremely puzzling and unusual. Fauci then weighed in, objecting to the preprint's description of Chinese scientists surreptitiously deleting the sequences. The word was loaded, said Fauci, and the reason they'd asked for deletions was unknown. That word is loaded. I don't like you saying that. I thought we were trying to find out the origins of the virus. We're not playing Jeopardy. It's not a word game. Who cares? That's when Anderson made a suggestion that surprised Bloom. Why don't you fuck off? He said he was a screener at the preprint server, which gave him access to papers that weren't yet public. He then offered to either entirely delete the preprint or revise it in a way that would leave no record that this had been done. Bloom refused, saying that he doubted either option was appropriate, given the contentious nature of the meeting. He wanted to strike it from the record. Again, I'm not saying anything happened. I'm not saying there's been any foul play, skullduggery, jiggery-pokery, tomfoolery. But according to our man Bloom here, Anderson said we can delete that paper, we can remove without trace that this whole thing has happened. There's already been sequences deleted that could give information that indicates the origins and evolution of the virus. If there's nothing to hide, what's all this deleting and hiding and apparent skullduggery all about? The wagon circling on that Zoom call reflected a siege mentality at the NIH, whose cause was much larger than Bloom and the missing sequences. In 2014, Fauci's agency had issued a $3.7 million grant to EcoHealth Alliance, a non-governmental organization dedicated to predicting and helping to prevent the next pandemic by identifying viruses that could leap from wildlife to humans. Do you think there's any risks with this kind of experiment? Suppose that it could actually happen? Yeah. The grant proposed to screen wild and captive bats in China, analyse sequences in the laboratory to gauge the risk of bat viruses infecting humans, and build predictive models to examine future risk. The Wuhan Institute of Virology was a key collaborator to whom EcoHealth Alliance gave almost $600,000 in subawards. Hold on, I've heard that before somehow. Wuhan. This is outrageous that something this plausible has been redacted from the public conversation and that we were expected to blindly comply for so long. I'm not suggesting I know anything other than what's in the contents of this Vanity Fair article as reported by our man Bloom here. But what this leads me to conclude is that there's a good deal of room for debate, conversation and circumspection. And how does it make you feel additionally that whenever anyone talks about this stuff, they're labelled a conspiracy theorist? Delete the files, eradicate all memory of the conversation. Don't admit that EcoHealth Alliance gave 600 grand to the Wuhan. Bloody hell, it's starting to look like there's something to hide, isn't it?